Eddie Howe, good to meet you. You've wasted no time in getting down to business as new head coach at Newcastle United.
Yeah, really good first day. Enjoyed it thoroughly. Worked the players well, and it was a good training session. Their response was excellent. So yeah, looking forward to what's to come.
You were quoted in your announcement yesterday as saying it's a great honour, a wonderful opportunity, but after everything you've achieved at your previous club, do you feel this is an opportunity that you deserve?
Well, I'm absolutely honoured to have been asked to become Newcastle United manager. A club of such rich history, traditions, huge fan, supporter base. Yeah, I feel it a real privilege to be here today, and yeah, very grateful for the opportunity.
I was actually at your first game as a manager, Darlington, against Bournemouth back in January 2009. Tell us about the situation you walked into there and what happened after that.
Yeah, it seems like a lifetime ago. I mean, it was a strange situation because I was thrust into management. It wasn't something that I particularly at that time wanted or seeked. I was asked to do it, and in the end, after some convincing, I took it. I wasn't really convinced that I was the right man for the job at the time, but once I decided to take the job and take the challenge, which basically the future of the football club really depended on that 6 months, I decided to give it my all. And from day one, I threw myself into the job, and thankfully we got there in the end, and we achieved what was a memorable moment in staying up and securing the long-term future of the football club.
Obviously, you joined the Newcastle side, currently second bottom of the Premier League, but when you went to Bournemouth, they were bottom of the entire Football League. They'd been deducted points. Just how difficult a situation was it at the time?
Yeah, it was very difficult. I mean, the players weren't getting paid. It was bleak. There were bailiffs turning up on a regular basis. It was really a really strange time to be associated with Bournemouth because things were that bad. There was no leadership from above. We had no real people at that time that were leading the football club, so it fell on Jason and I's shoulders really to do that. But what better learning experience. I mean, I couldn't have wished for a better education really to football management, in a sense that we had to be very, very hands-on. We had to coach the team, sometimes do the kit, sometimes buy things out of our own pocket which we felt would benefit the team. And I think those principles have served us really well in terms of getting our hands dirty and doing the things that we think will benefit the players. And we haven't really changed. Obviously the circumstances may have changed as we've gone through, but the actual way of doing the job hasn't changed too much.
How did you go about kind of changing the mindset? Obviously, you stayed up that first season, and then you just seemed to build and build. How did you go about doing that?
Well, I think creating an environment where players want to come in to work, creating an environment where they're there to develop and learn and to get the best out of themselves. Creating a team spirit, I think, is hugely important, where everyone knows they're in it together and they benefit from the team's success. All these key principles, I think, again, we've never veered away from. We've always tried to get the players to really bond with each other, and we feel close to them because we're working with them, not against them. And I think we won't change here. We'll do it our way. Hope it brings success, and all I can promise is that we will give everything we have in our power to bring that success to the club and to everyone associated with it.
You say you were hands-on at the start, and it seems like that's kind of continued. I think I've read that you continue to clip up individual clips for players. You've been involved in the pre-match music, stuff like that. Is that kind of stuff that you would be looking to kind of get involved in here?
Yeah, they certainly wouldn't want my music in the changing rooms. But yeah, no, I think it's about care. I think it's about showing the players that you care about them as people. You want the best for them, and you'll go the extra mile to try and deliver that for them. That's what we will try and do. I think naturally some people maybe take to it quicker than others, but I'd like to think we'll get there in the end with everybody. But all we can do is be us, and I think that's really important coming here. We will be us, but while obviously noting the club's traditions and respecting the history of the club, I think that's vitally important. And we will do all of those things to try and embed ourselves into the culture here.
Obviously, in the end, you took Bournemouth all the way to the Premier League and then survived for 4 years. Now you've been away from it for a few months. Have you been able to kind of really reflect on just how big an achievement all of that actually was?
I'm not really very good at that. I'm not really very good at analysing things and taking credit for it or looking at it that way. I'm sort of the other way, where I'll look at things and I'll sort of put it away, while recognising it was an unbelievable journey and an unbelievable time. I want to look to the future, and I think developing myself and educating myself in my time away was vitally important for me. So I haven't sat around the last year. I've been very, very active. I've been pushing myself to come back the best manager that I can be, and that's where I stand now. I'm sure this experience here will develop me further.
How have you done that then? I think you've gone abroad, you've gone and looked at different ways of doing things. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I've tried to surround myself with some really good experiences. So I've been away at different clubs around Europe and in England. I've visited several key people I think that I admire and respect, and I've tried to learn from them. I've studied myself in terms of watching game. I've done some media work, which was actually really beneficial for my learning and development on a different side. And I've used all the training sessions that I've done, analysed them, and tried to find improvements. So it's been quite a, my wife would say, you haven't rested for a second, but I can't do that. That's not in my nature. I'm always having to be active and do things.
Obviously, you were in the crowd at Brighton at the weekend, and you've just taken your first training session today, as we've discussed. In the short term, is it just about trying to make a big impact, I suppose, and trying to make marginal gains to try and get an instant improvement?
Yeah, I think we will look at everything, review everything, see what the club does really, I'm talking about on the training pitch here, what the club does really well, and what we can push to improve. The training ground also, we'll look to try and really invest in everything that the players experience and try and improve it. That's what we did through the years in our previous jobs, and as I said, we'll apply all those things that we consider our strengths really, and try and bring them to this job.
And longer term, what would you describe as your ethos? What's your preferred style of play?
Style of play is, we love to attack, be front foot, play with speed. Really, I've based my style of play on what I like to watch myself. And I want to see really fast, dynamic movements, a team playing as a team, not as individuals. Playing on the front foot, trying to win the game. Not be waiting for the opposition to impose themselves on us. We wouldn't need to try and impose ourselves on the opposition. So I think when people said I first went into management, it was a very brave approach, but for me, it's the only way that I know. And we're willing to attack and give it our all.
You've worked with a handful of the players already, Callum Wilson, Matt Ritchie, Ryan Fraser. How much will you be leaning on them in the early days at least?
I think it's great that they're here. We love them all as individuals, as players and as people. But I think it'd be unfair to put too much on them. They are part of a squad, and for us we have to treat them equally like we would all the other players. It's great that we have a relationship with them now, and a good relationship, so they can help maybe with the other lads promote and understand what we do quicker, and maybe push that to the other players. But in terms of other stuff, I think they've got a hard enough job to concentrate on their own games and playing well and functioning in the team, that I won't be asking too much of them.
You join a club that's probably got different expectations to Bournemouth. How big are the fans going to be in terms of getting you to where you want to be?
They're going to be absolutely massive. I mean, I'm under no illusions that to gain the success that we want here, we're going to need the supporters by our side. We will try and give them what they want, in the sense that we will try and play in the Newcastle way of previous teams and eras. I can't make any guarantee on results. I can only make a guarantee on effort from us and the players to try and give them what they want to see. Football's a very difficult game to predict, but I think what you can promise is the effort, and is the commitment, and is the work ethic to try and make that dream come a reality.
And you've got 2 weeks now before the next game, or just under 2 weeks before the next game. How much are you looking forward to that, and how beneficial do you think those 2 weeks could be for you? 2
weeks are going to be really important, because I think we need to make a good impression with everyone connected with the club. I think we need to set our stall out in terms of how we want to do it. And having that little bit, and it really is a little bit of time. It's such a small time really in the season, but it's just a chance for us to embed some ideas into the players' minds. Obviously, there's some players that aren't here, which is a disappointment, but it is what it is, and try and improve certain things before the Brentford game. But it's a game that, of course, we're looking forward to, and sampling the home atmosphere will be a really unique thing and something that, I can't wait to experience.